Rich Ortiz here with the fighter's voice, the only voice that matters. You have that fighter on you right now. You have that. Talk about Mexican Independence Day. We could call this Teddy Atlas here in Las Vegas, Nevada. You heard it from the champion himself. Man, we're simply knocking out the competition. Not Rich Ortiz here with the fighter's voice, the only voice that matters. And like Eddie
Lopez, because Josh Taylor is
the 4th division world champion, Mikey Garcia.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Richard Ortiz of the Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters. We're simply knocking out the competition. This evening, we have with us the one, the only UFC veteran, Mr. LAVAR Johnson himself. We're going to talk about his upcoming fight, October 27th, taking on the world bare-knuckle champion, Mark Godbeer. October 27th, Florida. That's a ways to go, but if you want something in life, you got to make those sacrifices. We're also going to talk about last weekend's fight with Charlo and Canelo. They finally settled the score, handled business, what's in store for each man, what's coming up. And we're going to talk the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles, the San Francisco 49ers, the Dallas Cowboys, the Buffalo Bills, and who is number 5. We're going to break down and ask Mr. LAVAR Johnson himself, who's his top 5 teams in the NFL? Who's he rooting for in baseball? And what does he do on his time off? Enough said, ladies and gentlemen. I want to welcome to the show Mr. LAVAR Big Johnson. Welcome to the show, LAVAR.
What's going on, Rich? Thank you for having me again. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you as always, man. I've always said this platform belongs to the people, the fighters, and you're part of that platform. You're a big part of that platform. After business is taken care of, October 27th, and you and myself are going to sit down and discuss some business about this platform and growing this platform and possibly, taking over in the MMA world as well. So being that said, LAVAR, I know you got a full schedule, a full table ahead of you of things, items you need to take care of, man. Tell us what goes on in the life of LAVAR Johnson as opposed to the regular life compared to leading up to a big fight?
Well, right now it's just every day is planned out. I got something going on constantly. If it's not with podcasts, it's with taking care of medicals and training and a little bit of everything. So I got to go back and forth to Fresno, train with some of my guys, Ralph Alvarado, George Zuniga. I'm over here. I got my boy KC. Kenny Clark comes down from Long Beach. He comes down and helps me out. Got my sons, both of my sons training with me now. So it's a big help and motivation, you know what I'm saying? And that's it, man. I'm just eating and training. That's what I do.
LAVAR, how has the sponsorship been for you? Are they reaching out? Are you still in seek of sponsors leading up to October 27th?
Yeah, I could always use some sponsors, but I've been having a few people. Ron Drew from Drew and Hefner Well Drilling has came and helped me out. We have my boy Jason Suzuki Padilla. He's helping me out, and he's working with Herbalife, so he's been a big help. My boy Steve Johnson, West Coast Off Road and Exhaust, been a big help. We got George over here from TJ's in Madera, Tijuana's. He's sponsored me, helped me out too. So, the community is backing me up and helping me out here and there. Oh, Dr. Batista, not to mention, he just offered me a sponsorship today. So everybody's coming together and trying to help me out and help me be prepared and get this win.
Yeah, I know you got a lot of fan base, a lot of support too. But I always open that up, and I always open it up and give the opportunity to the sponsors to be part of it. Because one thing I do run into, I didn't know this person needed sponsors. Oh, well, next time. And sometimes there is no next time. So the platform is ready right now. I'm sure they can reach you on your Instagram, or they can reach out to the Fighter's Voice. I'll send them your way. What's your Instagram real fast in case we do have some potential sponsors that want to help LAVAR Johnson?
LAVAR Big Johnson.
And that's on Instagram, correct? That's on Instagram?
Yes, sir. And just for the sponsors, all these fighters, especially coming up, always need help. They don't make a lot of money until you get to the top level. So every little bit helps. We got medicals, like I have to pay for an MRI tomorrow and eye exam and all that stuff adds up, the food, the nutrition and stuff. So especially for these younger guys that, don't have a big name and a big backing, if the sponsors, we really appreciate them, it helps a lot.
You know, you've really been taking a dual role, and when I say that, you also have been doing some training some fighters. That you're building your own stable. I've seen you at a couple local events and some major events. I've seen you in their corner and celebrating with them when they're in victory, and also being there as a big brother, as a mentor in defeat. How has that changed you as a man, and how has that changed you as a fighter?
It's it changed me as a man. It's like I feel it's my duty. All the life lessons that I learned. It's my duty as a man to pass on to these younger people. To show them the mistakes that I made when I went this way. This is what worked for me, and when I went the other way, it didn't work. So for me to pass on that knowledge and skills and everything, that's just part of my duty as a human being. And as a fighter too, it helps me because I got to lead by example. So I can't tell my guys that, go in there and don't have no fear and let your hands go and not do it myself. So I want to go in there and just show them how it's done.
Well, you've been that good leader. You've been that good role model, and you have been giving back to the community. I've watched it, and it's almost. I'm about to ask you: is that stuff on hold right now because you're really putting in the work and preparing yourself for this big fight, October 27th? LAVAR, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's something like maybe 3 years in the making. I mean, you were set up to meet him at one point,
Oh
and
yeah.
if it wasn't one thing or another, it's the fight that a lot of people thought would not happen. The people wanted it to happen. The fan base wants this fight to happen. How long has this been in the works?
Yeah. It's been in the works since 2019, so about four
Okay.
years now. So now that it's finally about to happen, yeah, it's probably not going to happen. The fight's happening for
Yes.
sure, but there's some news I'm probably not supposed to leak out, but yeah, the opponent is definitely going to be changed, and still for a belt, still for top pay is the same, still for the title. So I mean, it sucks because Godbeer's a good guy, and I don't know what he has going on in his life, and what's preventing him from doing it. But it's comes a time, and you know, in the sport, it's a young man's game, and if you're not feeling 100% and going in there, you're gonna get hurt, especially in bare knuckle. So I respect his decision, whatever he does, whatever he makes and whatever he does. So it's on to the next. It don't matter who they put in there. The fight's a fight for me.
Well, you know what? Like I attach all the time to our podcast only, and that only means for a reason. Our guests only, news only on the Fighter's Voice, and that's breaking news. And do you know anything about your new opponent going in? Do you know anything about him at all? Anything you can share with the Fighter's Voice?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it right there and just allow them to announce that on that part. I don't want to get in trouble or anything, but um, it should be entertaining. It should be
Okay,
entertaining.
is it
So,
a name that we know? Is it a name that's been in the industry?
oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure this guy has about 100 fights. I'm sure everybody's heard of him. He's been around for a while, and I'm looking forward to it.
LAVAR,
I'm looking
as long
forward
as
to
I've
it.
known you, you've always asked yourself, you've always accepted and wanted to test your skill set. You've never walked away from a challenge. At one point, I mean, when we were back in the day talking at, shout out to one of the best gyms in Madera, it finally, closed down during COVID, Athletic Club. We had discussions there, and the names you threw my way, I was like,
Yes.
wow. And I looked at you and you were all excited, didn't have a fear in your bone at all, and you just you couldn't wait to get in there, and it was always the same answer. I just got to touch this guy.
Yeah, and I think that's just part of being a fighter. If you don't think you're the best or you can be the best, then you need to find something else to do. If you're not trying to be the best, what are you doing here? Trying to be popular for Instagram or I don't know. You got to love fighting. This is a sport where you have to absolutely love to fight, or it's not going to turn out good for you. And I believe too, um, I'm still I'm still up there with the best. If I didn't think that, I wouldn't do it. If I thought I was just going to go out there just for a paycheck, um, I wouldn't even waste my time. I wouldn't embarrass myself, my team, my family, or anything like that. So I still feel that as long as there's no takedowns, I like those odds.
No, exactly, and it's like bare knuckle was exactly made for exactly what your most effectiveness, and that's the power. That's your stand-up game. And anybody that knows the UFC, the Bellator, or any kind of martial arts knows exactly what Big LAVAR Johnson brings to the table, brings to the fight, the whole atmosphere, and the expectancy of you. I mean, LAVAR, everybody loves knockouts. And, I've never
Yeah.
seen anybody cheer any more, any less from a LAVAR Johnson knockout to a Mike Tyson knockout to, I mean, you name it in the heavyweight division, man. I mean, that's what everybody loves to see. That's why they fill the tickets. Buy the tickets and fill the seats.
And then that's a change for this fight too. It's going to be a knockout, and I'm not planning on fighting all the rounds. I'm not going the distance. I'm planning on putting him to sleep. I'm trying to get at him first and get at him hard, and put him away. That's just ain't nothing changed. The game plan is just be first and be hard.
LAVAR, when you receive that phone call from Ken Shamrock or whoever, who handles, the bare knuckles um, industry, how quick of a decision was it to be made right there? Did you tell him, "Hey, I'll get back to you," or you were, I'm sure you asked him, "Well, when is it? What's the payday? Where's it going to be at? Who's my opponent?" What are the first questions one
Yeah.
asks another person once you're offered the fight?
Well, I mean, it's happened. They've called me several times throughout the year. So, and then like 3 or 4 times, and didn't go through. They took care of me pay wise and everything like that. So it's a good company. It's a great company, and I think it's probably going to be one of the better bare knuckle organizations out there. I think once the show gets going, I like how they're doing the matchups. The It's just different with the ring and the pit. The no grabbing, no wrapping the hands. It's just a different. It's a whole nother feel. So I'm feeling this, and when they call me up to fight, it's just it is what it is. That's what I do. So I've been waiting for this for 4 years, and I'm finally glad that it's going to happen. Signed a 3-fight contract, so this is not the last one either. We're just getting started.
That's right. LAVAR, I mean, you've always been fond of our hometown, Madera, California. Those who know it that are in this
Absolutely.
Madtown, the original 209. Now we're 559. When
Hmm.
you walk around today and you have a fight, you glue people to the TV. You have them run to the store, they get their barbecue, they get their drinks, their family gathers around, and it's a different type of feeling. And that feeling, you watched your share of some UFC fights, last weekend's fight, I'm sure you were watching it and the atmosphere.
Yes.
But LAVAR Johnson fights, not people just in Madera, not just in the Fresno area, but your fan base, San Jose, worldwide, they expect the big fight, the big right hand. But I'm talking about the Madera people in Madera. I know it has a special place in your heart. How does that make you feel knowing that you give people expectations, you give people hope, and you keep people's dreams alive just by your performance?
It feels great, and I'm proud to be from Madera. As you know, I was born in San Jose and moved here in the middle of 8th grade. But the mental toughness and the and everything, the physical, every hardworking and all that stuff I got here from Madera, California, through big homies like Frank Poses, JJ Amaro, Mark Bradford, um, my coaches, Dane Cook. Uh, Brian Greer. I've been around some of the hardest people that you could meet, and I've played football in different states and stuff like that. So I've been around a lot of people, and just the mentality here is just different. We have a lot of fighters. A lot of people don't make it out because we don't have a lot of opportunities here for them. Structured facilities and proper coaching and opportunity like that. So a lot of these guys, really talented guys, don't get to shine. But I love it, man. These guys love me. They support me, and when I get out there and I knock somebody out and holler out Madtown, they love it, and they let me know when I see them.
LAVAR, you just named one hell of a roster, man. I mean, I know some. I know Frankie, I know JJ, and Coach Cook, man. Man, that dude was a badass. Still is. He's very humble now, but he still has some fight in him.
Yes. Oh yeah, Coach Cook is one of my favorite coaches, man, and not just as a because he's what a real coach should be. It's not just on the football aspect, but he'll take every kid out there, whether you're starting or not, give you a nickname, build up your self-esteem, and just build you up as a young man. Period. Point blank. And I think that's one the that's great.
This fight, October 27th, Florida, it's for a bout, the world title. How
Yes,
does that
sir.
change your life, knowing that when you win the fight, you are the face of Valor? Plain and simple, period. How does that make you feel?
Well, I mean, I got a bigger responsibility. I got a lot of work to do. So if I'm gonna be the face, then like just as anything else, I gotta make my people proud. And Valor's treated me well, and they've gave me opportunity to shine. So when I get this belt, just work a little bit harder and try to be the best heavyweight champ I can. But first, I got to get it. There's a reason why we have these fights. If that was the case, if I just say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to get the belt," it would be that easy. We wouldn't have to have these fights. But anything could happen. So I'm ready. I'm prepared, and I'm ready to get it.
Well, that's October 27th, and you give you time
To earn
to
it.
come back to Madera, but I know I'm getting a text or a call wherever that barbecue's at, my man, and I'll have the camera on just for
Well,
about
I
20
think
minutes, and then the rest is getting turned off because the fighter's voice likes to let loose, also, man.
absolutely, absolutely, and for sure, we're about to. I know. When I come back, we'll be at Tacos Tijuana's at George for a little bit. Go hang out with him. I don't know. Probably have a select few over to the house right here and just hang out. So you're more than welcome. You already know that.
Absolutely, man.
Barb-
LAVAR, you mentioned earlier that your boys are working out with you, and I know you were bringing them up slowly, and they also have the desire to compete. How far are they along before they hear that first bell ring?
my younger son, he's 19. He's still got some little ways to go. I would say about maybe 6 more months before he has his first amateur fight. I want to get him really solid. I'm building up his strength and his confidence right now. His boxing IQ is through the roof. So, I mean, he did that on his own. I haven't trained him really. I barely started training him because I want him to be
Yeah.
dedicated. He likes to start things and then not finish them. So I'm like, I'm not going to dedicate my time to you if you're not going to be serious. So now he's hungry. I got other people in the camp ready to go to that he works with and they can relate to. And I'm looking forward to him going. I'm looking forward to my older son too. That's 21. Um, I'm looking forward to him competing in jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai.
Well,
So
nice.
he's 6'4", putting on some weight too. So I'm excited. I'm excited to go be able to watch my boys go out there and compete.
A lot of people they have to hit certain gyms or travel a little bit. Correct me if I'm wrong. It looks like you're bringing the gym back to your house. You had some structure going on in your backyard. You care to share with the viewers, the fans, and the followers?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we just put up we're putting up a ring, a 20 by 20 foot ring in the backyard, and like I've tried to open up a gym here in Madera. I tried to partner up with people, and it's just this Madera makes it so hard as far as permits and this and that. So Jose Torres had a gym right over there off of East Street, and all of a sudden they want to raise the rent a whole nother $1,000. So I'm trying to partner up with
Wow.
this guy, and they just snatched it away. He sat there and spent all his money on getting the place right. Um, the permits, like I said, it took a lot of time, and then they just yanked it from right underneath them. And all these kids that started going, that was their little home, to get off the streets and stay busy and stay healthy and everything. And it's so unfortunate, that it's so hard to have a place. So I just said, fuck it, we're gonna put a ring in the backyard, and we ain't gonna have no excuses. It's always place to work right there.
Yes, sir, man. And where are you located? If you care to share your area, or is you gonna open it to the public, or is it just for right now? We'll just
Oh
keep
no,
it.
no, that's not. This is the Thunderdome, baby. This is my backyard. This is
Oh,
my
okay,
home.
okay.
Yeah, there'll be some fights back there. I guarantee you that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll have some people out here and have some good old times and stuff like that. So, maybe we'll bring the podcast out here and do a couple fights. You
Hey,
know what I'm saying?
absolutely. I'll go down there and commentate. We'll get some content, some footage, or if someone's sparring, the
There
camera
we
won't go
go.
on unless you want it to. And
Yeah. The camera will
Okay.
go on. Yeah, people need to see how we get down in Madtown. I've been doing this stuff since I didn't start boxing for a while, but I've always, me and my friends always threw on the gloves and boxed each other in Madeira, so they get a little bit of taste of what it is in Madtown.
I remember, LAVAR, I went on my own. I don't even think I told you, man. I sent a little bit of footage of you, and I sent some pictures of you to Robert Garcia. He's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, he's had numerous champions at Robert Garcia's Boxing Academy. And I've never got a text so quick in return. He goes, "Who's that?" He goes, "What's his name? How old is he? How much does he weigh? How tall is he?" And he was just asking questions until his son, Pita,
Uh-huh.
is a big MMA fan. I mean, they come from a boxing family, but MMA. So then he broke him down and gave him the whole structure. So then he kept asking me, "Hey, is he willing to box?" So I think a couple of times you got some text messages from me out of the blue. "Hey, have you ever considered boxing?" And you go, "Well, I mean, we could talk
Yeah,
about it." I remember, I remember you told me that.
yeah. I know that's what my son wants me to do too, but yeah, I think I'm just gonna do these last few 3 fights and see where it goes from there. I like this. It's a fast pace. I don't want to box nobody for no 10, 12 rounds. You know, I don't know. I think this is more my favorite. I could turn off the lights real quick and end it quick. You know, so this is more my style.
UFC veteran and MMA Hall of Famer Cole Escovedo, he said this sport was invented for LaVar Johnson. And when you hear quotes like that, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel good. It's like people recognize my work and appreciate what I do. It's a lot of hard work that I've been through. I've had a couple of different boxing coaches, and to get it right and be accurate and hit hard and be able to just do it like that. It's I appreciate them
Well, this
recognizing my work.
seems to come natural to you. And what seems to come natural is Las Vegas, Nevada, pay per view. Unless you were a stick in the mud and you didn't happen to see this fight last weekend, Jamal Charlo put it all on the line, taking on
Yeah.
a lot of people call the face of boxing, Canelo Alvarez. I'm sure you watched the fight. What did you think of the matchup, and what did you think of the outcome, and where do you think each individual goes from here?
Um, the Man, I was so disappointed in the fight. I thought Charles was going to put up a bigger fight. I knew Canelo was going to win, but Charles was saying how he wasn't going to run. He don't know why everybody goes backwards, and then that's all he did was run and try to survive throughout the fight. So I was disappointed in that. After this, I would like to see Canelo and Benavidez.
That's a great matchup.
Um, and Charles, and who would Charles need to see? Charles need to see somebody.
Possibly Bud Crawford or maybe Costa Zoo's son.
He don't deserve Bud Crawford after this fight. He don't deserve Bud.
Well,
Maybe maybe Spence.
that's actually
That's
what
somebody
Bud
right
said.
there.
He said he's off my
Earl Spence.
radar.
Yeah, Earl Spence, and Charles would be a good
I
one.
talked about that because Errol Spence's natural weight, I believe, is 154s. He does have that
Yeah,
rematch clause. I don't know if he's going to make 147 once again to take on Bud Crawford, but Bud's not going to give away any advantage. I don't think. I think eventually he's going to move it to 154, but not for this rematch. I don't see that happening. But that's a great matchup. I think that'd be a great matchup for Jamal Charlo. That or Zoo taking on Zoo, or possibly Jaime Magia at 154s. And
I like McGee. I'm a big fan of
yeah,
McGee.
I mean he brings it.
I would like to see the Benavidez and Jaime McGee fight
That's
too. That's
interesting. They, Golden Boy threw that up as a possibility. Oh, you screen way down now. We're good. Golden Boy just threw that up as a possibility, and I think either Canelo's either going to fight Bivol at 168s, which will be a major fight, major rematch, because he's willing to come down to 168s, or possibly the other Charlo brother. I don't see him taking on Benavidez just yet in May, but anything's possible. He signed with PVC for a reason because all the big names are there. Left a great promoter in Eddie Hearn, and he's a free agent, so he's making some big moves. And I noticed, I don't know if you noticed either, but Mayweather is finally giving him his flowers. That he showed a lot of respect for him. And I'll tell you the first thing that entered my mind. I mean, did you see the two? I mean, encountering and giving each other props during the fight after it was over, and even during the press conference. Mayweather was speaking, and then he kind of stopped and said, "Hey, this is Canelo's show, and I'm going to make sure he gets his time," and so forth. Did you happen to notice any of that?
Yeah. That's no. I didn't really pay attention after the fight. After I was frustrated after the fight. I was like, okay, whatever. Um, but yeah, no. And that's how it should be. Good
Yeah.
sportsmanship, and Canelo works hard, and that's his time. After the victory, that's his time to shine, and rightfully so. He should step aside and let him get a shine on. But yeah, that's good. I think it's both mutual respect. I mean,
Well, I mean, he loves the sport of boxing, and I don't want to rob that from Ali Setback. And he had a video. He put it up just yesterday, and he was at Robert Garcia's boxing academy, his gym. And they named certain fighters who stays in the gym, who doesn't, who's ready, who's not. And Robert says something that was very interesting. He said, Canelo always stays in the gym, and he says because he loves the sport. He said Oscar De La Hoya's thing it was because he loves the sport. And there were certain fighters that love the sport. They're always in the gym. Why? Because they love the sport of boxing. And that's very true. And that's something that I never really thought about. Because nowadays, if you're a world title holder, you don't fight but maybe once a year. It's very rare that you get to fight twice a year. We got a lot of fighters once a year, and that's really not, that's not taking care of the fights that need to be made. There's a very small window in the sport of boxing, and you got to capitalize on that. And, I'm disappointed too. I thought he would put up a little bit more competitive fight, but there's 20 million reasons why he took the fight, and he's a very rich man now.
yeah, he is, and I don't know. I don't know if I'd watch it again. I'm a lot of the. I mean, right now is a very exciting time in boxing. You got Tank, you got Garcia, you got all these guys that are really trying to finish their opponents. And for something like this, it's like a little like temporary setback. We were waiting for fireworks. You know what I'm saying? You don't come out there and say you're a lion and this and that, and then you get on your bicycle and travel around the ring. So, like I said, I was just a little disappointed, but I'm ready to see Canelo get out there again. And about the training, staying in the gym. I would take a week off every fight. Just take a week off, and then I'll be right back in there because as a prize fighter, you never know what's coming up next. And I think when I was in the UFC, I might have fought like 3 times in 4 months.
Oh, I remember one time, LAVAR,
You know?
you took you just won by knockout, unscathed. They offer you a fight. I think it was a week later. I'm not sure. Was it 10 days? And you jumped all over it.
Yeah, I mean that's what I think. As fighters, we should be ready. If you're not hurt, you should be fighting. That's what I tell my guys all the time. Don't get hung. Don't get comfortable. Don't go home and try to get all fall in love and lovey-dovey. We got work to do, especially if this is your career, we need to hurry up and move fast as possible. Get all the experience and make noise. And like you said, it's a small window, so do what we can. Stay moving.
I don't want to get off.
What do you think about?
No,
I was going to ask, what do you think about this Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury fight?
I think it's interesting. I think it's a good payday for Francis. I think it's a good payday for Tyson Fury. But shortly after that, they disrespect the sport by signing to fight Usyk, and that's as if to say, okay, this is nothing. Now I'm already going to fight here. Within like maybe 2 weeks after LAVAR, 2 weeks after that fight, Tyson Fury's fighting for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world, which he retains one bout, fighting the other fighter 3 weeks. So what does that tell you?
So, that they do not. They're taking him lightly.
All it takes is one, man.
Lightly.
And
you see, everybody he touches goes
bad.
to sleep.
Really go to sleep. Really go to sleep.
I don't think they're really. I think they're really underestimating Francis Ngannou, man. I mean, he's knocked out some of the baddest, toughest dudes. I mean, like damn near everybody, and he puts them to sleep. So he's not Wilder.
No.
So he's not like 227
No.
pounds. This dude is like 6'6", almost 6'7", cut down to 265, smashing people. So.
And they showed a little bit of him, what the public wants to see. He's not gonna give away. If I was his agent, I'm saying no. That's all you're showing. We're not showing what's behind closed doors, because there's that speed, and there's that competitive speed. And once he's in the ring,
Yeah.
he's able to cut it off, withstand, and just let those hands go. His objective is to let the hands go and corner you, do whatever it takes to land his punch. I mean, I don't care if this man
Oh
hits
yeah.
you on the arms, the elbows, the hips, you're going to feel it.
Yeah. Yeah. He can move. He can move. They're not. What they're showing is, like you said, it's not giving him justice. He can move when he needs to move. He can close the distance, and he's not going to box. He's not going to box Tyson. He's going to get. I think he's going to get him in the corner and let his hands go. And if he doesn't knock him out in the first or second round, yeah, then he's in for a
Yeah,
long night.
I give him 3 because of his gas tank. I mean, but he's not there no filling out. No, because all he's gonna do is eat a jab. He's gonna get inside, maybe take one to get in, to receive one, but he's gonna let his hands go. I agree with you, and they're all gonna be with bad intentions. I mean, look who he has in his corner. Look
He
at who's
has to.
advising him. I mean, the GOAT himself, Mike
Yeah.
Tyson.
I think that's just mainly for just to draw attention, more of a advertisement because Tyson's 5'10", he's 6'6". I don't know how their styles can really match. I mean, as far as the training wise, maybe showing them how to punch with his whole body. Um, I think I can see that as a
Yeah.
plus. But other than that, I don't see him doing the picky.
No, not at all. But I mean,
fighting
having
with-
Tyson on your team, on your side, that's not a negative. So he'll take anything in
No.
positivity that believes in him, is a plus. But at the end of the day, he believes in himself is why he took the fight.
Yes, certainly. And plus, he deserves to get that money. He's one of the baddest
Yeah.
dudes, if not the baddest dude on the planet. So let's get that man paid.
Exactly. I mean, we all wish we would have saw him with, Bones Jones. A lot of people can say what ifs or what ifs, but that man hits you, man, and he makes a statement. I mean, he's put some of the best to bed and into rest. So he's
Yeah.
definitely where he's at, and I'm
In an
glad
ugly
he's
way.
cashing in.
Yeah.
LAVAR, let's talk
In an
about
ugly way.
what's up. How you started here in Madera, California, and that was Madera Coyotes playing football, man. I know you're a big fan of football, the NFL, man, and some teams are starting to. I usually say after the third game, you can see if they're pretenders or contenders or where they're at. But it's been pretty consistent so far. And I know you're an Eagles fan. Besides your Eagles, who you're going
Yes,
to put
sir.
there? Who do you think is chasing the Super Bowl, and who's your top 5?
Well, the Niners are looking fantastic.
Yes, unfortunately, yes.
They're moving. The Chiefs, or you
Yeah.
can't count them out.
Yeah.
The Bills, the Dolphins.
Yeah, Dolphins.
I can't count out the Cowboys either. I mean, they had that little
Yeah.
hiccup, but the Cowboys got a good squad too. So, out of my guys, I would say maybe AFC. I would say um, Bills, Miami, and Chiefs, and then NFC. I would say Eagles, Cowboys, and Niners.
Yeah. That's I can't argue with that. And
Yeah. So I'm excited for my team. They're having a little hiccups too, but they're pulling everything together, and hopefully we smash these Rams coming up on Sunday.
you've been in some exciting games, man. I mean, last minute they pull it out, or they're able to come back, or that overtime with I don't know what to call them again. Because now they're upset because they want to be called Redskins again, but the Generals.
Yeah.
Commanders. Okay, well, see, I'm giving them another name. Generals sound pretty good. You know who I was thinking about today when I said Generals? I was thinking of Fernando Vargas's youngest son, who they call him the General. So undefeated, comes from a fighting family.
Okay.
So that just happens to
Well,
stick in my mind.
I still call them the Redskins. I don't. I know I know a bunch of Redskins fans, and they're just like, "Man, we're the Redskins. I
Yeah.
don't care whatever they call them, the Commanders, whatever." They're still sticking with the Redskins. So, but those division games, you never know. We always have good games with the Cowboys, and sometimes with the Redskins, and the Giants are just
Yeah.
boo boo. So
Yeah, they used to be a force in that division, and one thing about it, every once in a while they'll play a division game, very tough, as you know. I mean, anybody in the division is not safe from playing another division team in the division.
yeah,
But this is football right now, and the Cowboys got a big game. See if we can pull this one out.
oh yeah, this
At
is gonna be a
Candlestick.
great game with the Niners.
I say Candlestick, but in San Francisco.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be a good game. Can't wait to watch that one too.
Absolutely, man. Before I get away or let you go, man, I want to give a big shout out to the Kronk Gym for sending me this shirt all the way from Detroit, from the world famous Kronk Gym, where Emmanuel Stewart trained Tommy Hearns, Michael Moore, Evander Holyfield, Julio Cesar Chavez, the late great
Oh
Emmanuel
yeah,
Stewart. This came from Detroit. I received this in the mail yesterday, and also Wild Card Boxing Gym, Freddie Roach. They sent me a little care package, so I want to give them a
sure.
shout out as well. Wild Card, they sent me some gear. This is one shirt that I'm leaving display. The other stuff, I got to rock that stuff. Want to thank Freddie Roach and Marie Roach for sending me that care package. And, Freddie Roach, man, Hall of Famer, man. And it feels good when somebody watches what you do and, they send you some things to help out and so forth. Because we had an idea one time and we were going to call it Wild Card Wednesday, on the podcast, shoot it on a Wednesday and do
Uh-huh.
some different things I was sharing with them. But, a lot of things go on. Boxing don't stand still. There is no season. There is no off season or it starts this season. And, it's a very fast pace, man. So I respect it, understand it. And we got some things in the works and some sponsorships that we want to put together as well. So I'm always willing to try to help people, see if I can use the platform to try to connect people to get sponsorships. And, ours will come in time, and you go out there, you ask for it, you receive it. If not, you keep grinding, man. Just like you, LAVAR. I mean, you've had your hands
Yeah,
raised
yeah,
many times, and there's been some times you may not have had your hand raised, but you still won because you learned from it and was able to execute on your following fight. And you know that I admire about you, and you're always able to bounce back. Always able to be a main attraction. Have your face on a poster. Have your face where it needs to be. Live TV, pay per view, and man, this is a big event in Florida, man.
that is. It is. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm also looking forward to working with you and trying to help out with everything and learning from you and sharpening my skills and hopefully get on the road with you to some of these famous gyms and meet some of these guys too. I've met just about everybody in the MMA world, but it'd be nice to meet Freddie Roach and all those
Yeah,
guys, and go to LA. And, it'd be fun.
absolutely, man. I
So
mean,
looking forward to it.
iron sharpens iron. And I was just thinking to myself, if I was to walk in an MGM Grand, walking from the main door, pass by the store, and before you hit the hotels or that bar, I can, I'll bet you a steak dinner. We couldn't make it past the elevator without someone stopping us because you're walking with me.
Well,
No, I
I don't
no.
know. Maybe after this fight, we'll see what happens.
Well, there you go, man. Because LAVAR, I've known you for some time, man, and like I said, you've always made great moves for yourself. You've always rebound from any encounter that you engage inside of the cage or outside of the cage, and that's the mark of a good man. You're giving back to the community, and we shared with you earlier. You're also giving back to us. You're giving back to me by I get the opportunity to see my close friend on the highest level compete, which I'm going to have my drinks, I'm going to have my barbecue, I'm going to have my friends over, and we're all going to be rooting for the same person, watching the prelims, BSing, talking, reminiscing through that whole fight, possibly making some deals or making engagements or dates that we'll hook up later on. Or whatever the case may be until that main event comes on, man. It's the type of impact that you have today, the same impact you had yesterday, but today, LAVAR, you're fighting for the world title of the world, bare knuckle world title, man. And not to put any more pressure on you, you already know, but I'm just telling you, man, I appreciate you, my brother.
Man, I appreciate you too, man. Let's go, and maybe you send my coach the your logo for the fighter's voice, and we'll get that on the pants too, so I can represent.
Absolutely, man. Hey, shoot, I would love that. We can exchange numbers, and I'll definitely send him that. LAVAR, how can we keep in touch with you, man? How do we stay in contact with you? What's your handle on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram? How do we stay in contact with you?
Uh, Facebook's just LeVar Johnson, and Instagram's LeVar Big Johnson. That's really all I got. I'm not a big social media person, but I try to keep up and keep everybody posted and informed with all the news and my fighters and teammates news and stuff like that. That's what I really use it for. So LAVAR Big Johnson on Instagram or LAVAR Johnson on Facebook. That's how you can follow me.
Well, right now, LAVAR, the platform is yours, man. Anybody special you want to give a shout out to? Any sponsors? Anything? Any rock we didn't turn over?
Yeah, I was thinking of my sponsors, Ron Drew from Drew and Hefner, Water Well Drilling. Um, my boy Jason Suzuki, he does. He's working with Herbalife. He's been helping me out a lot. George, like I said, from Tijuana, from TJ's, he's been helping me. Just a number of people, man. Everybody from Madera and Fresno, man. I love you guys. Thank you for the support. And hopefully I'll go out there and make you guys proud.
I'm sure you will too, man. I'm your host, Richard Ortiz of The Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters. And unlike our guest tonight, LAVAR Big Johnson, we're simply knocking out the competition. As always, it's a wrap. Thumbs up for Richie.
Okay, fight fans, it's not goodbye, but until next week. Remember, it's always voiceography at its finest. So on behalf of Richard Ortiz, the special guests, and all the crew, saying hasta luego, babies. And always, thanks for listening.